Greetings viewers, Eric the Car Guy here, also known as ETCG1 on this here channel. Why? Because I'm wearing this stylish hat. Welcome back, and for those of you that hate the two camera angles, well, sorry. I'm trying to take the production to a new level. Anyway, here on ETCG1 we talk about stuff. We're not doing repair videos, so if you're expecting a repair video, I apologize for that, but I will post a link in the description to the Eric the Car Guy channel, my Eric the Car Guy channel, which you can go to and watch all the repair videos you like, so feel free to do that. If not, and you want to stick around and join in the discussion, welcome. Thank you for joining us. I get asked all the time about, hey Eric, what school should I go to? Or how should I go about getting my automotive education? And that is a wicked good question and a very important question because in essence, it involves the rest of your professional career, at least for the most part. I mean, these days, it's hard to say that you have a career for a lifetime, but you got to start somewhere, and it's a very important decision. And not having experience in the field and that kind of thing, it can be very daunting. You're not really sure what direction to go in. You're not really sure where to go. You're trying to figure out how to come up with the money for some of these places, which can be very expensive. So I feel your pain to a certain extent. Keep in mind, it's been more than 20 years since I was in school at this point. And as a result, I'm not as privy to what's out there as I used to be. I can always say good things about the school that I went to, which is Rosedale Technical Institute in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Not only were they a great school when I went, but they've made massive improvements since then. Scanner Danner's an instructor there. Come on. You want to learn drivability, and you can actually understand what he's saying on his level, which you should by the time you're done with his classes. I would recommend you go there. So if you're in that area in Western Pennsylvania or surrounding area, I say go to Rosedale. And I'm not saying that just because I'm being paid to or anything, because I'm not. I'm literally saying that's a good school, and that's where I would go if I had the opportunity. And I'm way out here in Cincinnati. I'd relocate. That being said, that's not the option for everybody because you're watching from just about everywhere. So you have to explore your options. And I'm just going to cover some basic things to think about before you decide to sign up for a program and sign your life away, so to speak. One of the main things I think to look for if you're in the United States or Canada is ASC Accreditation for the school that you're looking into. Now, you have a lot of options. You have basically, well, I say you have a lot of options, but really you have two options, or two types of options. One is a program through a community college. The second is a trade school or a school that is specifically dedicated to auto repair. Those are the two main options that I know about. As far as online learning, I'm very hesitant on that one. One, because I have no experience with those programs. I don't know what they're like. But if you think about it, auto repair is a hands-on experience. And the school that you go to, and I'm going to mention this for both the trade school and the college programs, the more hands-on you can get, the better. Because I've said it in the past, and many people have said in the comments, especially people that have been in the field and have been practicing this for some time, your education truly begins when you get that first job. The education is there as your backstory. That's your foundation. That's something you can build upon. That's something that makes it so that you're less likely to screw up an ABS sensor while doing an axle replacement. Or, you'll be privy to some of those systems, TPMS systems. You'll have some idea, and I mention these things because these are things that you can run into during a simple oil change or a tire rotation, or just doing general mechanical work. If you don't have the foundation, if you're not sure what you're looking at, if you're not sure why you're doing what you're doing, you're just doing it. And a lot of you come to me and said, Eric, I've been a mechanical whiz since I was a kid. I don't need no stinking education. I went out and I got a job and did just fine. Good for you, but I'm going to say that you're in a minority. At least for me, I felt much better having that education, and I was very, very glad to have it when I was done. To a certain, well, I'm not going to say to a certain extent. I was very glad to have it when I was done. A lot of it got thrown out the window as soon as I got that first job, but that's like I said, that education truly begins because that first job is going to take you in a different direction. It's going to be a departure from your education. That much I can say. But having that education and having that job placement that comes along with that, because that's another thing to look for, is job placement in the school that you're looking to go to. Check their job placement records. I mean, how likely are they to place you in a paying job when you're done with that school and you need to pay them back those student loans that you borrowed, or if you're fortunate like me to be completely destitute and the state foots the bill, hey, more power to you. Go and do well. Become a tax-paying member of society. But yeah, ASC accreditation, I say this because ASC carries a lot of weight in the employment market. Now, many people have brought up the argument that I know guys that have all their ASC tests and can't find a spanner to save their lives. Okay, I get it. Some people are really book smart and not so good with their hands, yet they have an affinity towards working on cars. Fine, it takes all kinds, really. It really does take all kinds in this business. But if you are straight out of the gate looking for a job, you got ASC, or you're about to get your ASCs with another year's work experience under your belt, I would think as an employer, I'm more apt to hire you. Why? Because you put the time in. You put the effort in. You've gotten the education. You're working towards an ASC. You're working to better yourself. And as an employer, as somebody who puts their neck on the line every time a customer's expensive car comes through the door, I'm not going to put it in the hands of somebody that doesn't have a lot of experience and just says, hey, I can work on your car. I can work on anything. That may be true, but it looks better on paper if I'm hiring the guy that has some accreditation, that can go out there and, it should have some knowledge. Now, granted, I'm going to have somebody babysit him for a while to find out if he's any good, ASC accreditation or not. That's just how it is, because you're learning when you first start out. You're nervous, it's hard to get stuff. Now, what I was talking about that on their way to ASC accreditation, many schools, and this is something to look for in a school, many schools, your time in school counts towards your ASCs. In order to be ASC certified, you need 2 years work experience on the books, as well as passing those tests that they make you take. So you've got to meet those 2 requirements. Many schools, as you attend the school, that counts towards at least one of those years of your work requirement. So you could graduate from school and already have a year's worth of work requirement taken care of from ASC before you ever get a job. Then it comes around for your anniversary after you started that job, and you can show that you've had that extra year's worth of work experience. You got your 2 years, bam. 1 year after you're in the job market, you got your ASC certification, certifications, plural, depending upon if you took them all. That's also important. So look for a school that counts towards your ASC. Look for a school that's got good job placement. Another thing to do is do what you can to try to talk to the students that are there and get a feel for their attitude and how they feel about the school. Do they feel like they're getting enough out of it? This is kind of a slippery slope to some extent. Well, not necessarily. You might hear, I'm going to back up a little bit. You might hear from some people, yeah, I went to that school, it was garbage, the instructors, they sucked, they just, don't go there, they're just crap. You may hear this about any school, and I say this because not everybody that goes to school to become an automotive technician is really super motivated to do well while they're there. They have different expectations, and as a result, those expectations might not be met, and then they might blame the school. What I'm saying here is, when you do go to school, put your time in, make the effort, study. If you really want this to happen, make it happen. That's how I did it. Okay, that's how I did it. I'm sitting here talking to you here today as a result of just quite literally just throwing everything I had into getting the best automotive education I could. I took advantage of every program. I did everything I could to make my education work. I'm suggesting that you do the same. Don't just say, well, I'm going to school, I'm going to do this, I'll study a little bit, and I just need a pass. Okay, fine. If you're going to be that way, great. But if you really want a job, you really want to stand out, make the effort. Show you've made the effort. People will notice this. People in job placement will notice this. In fact, the first job that I ever got was through the director of the school, who happened to know a guy that used to go to the school that I was going to, that said, hey, he might be looking, let me call him. That's how I got the job, because it was noticed that I was making an effort. And that's, no matter where you go, make the effort, make it happen, because ultimately at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you. Because really, as a technician, in so many ways, you're really a subcontractor. They call it employment, but with the flat rate system, which we've talked about in other videos, and the fact that you have to buy all your own tools, in most places. Some places, if you get way lucky, it's usually only fleets that I've ever seen this in. They supply you with tools. Dealerships supply you with some specialty tools normally that are required by the manufacturer, but remember, dealerships are a franchise of the manufacturer. So the dealership that you're in, one franchise may be like on it, another franchise may be like, yeah, I hate dealing with these manufacturers. It just depends on where you end up. That's a whole other video as far as finding a job as a technician. But as far as looking for a school, I would say those are the takeaways. Those are the things that you want to try and focus on. You want to focus on job placement, and you want to focus on whether or not they have ASC accreditation and the time that you spend there if it counts towards that. If it's got those two things, it's a good shot. Then talk to the students, or as many students as you possibly can, especially students that have gotten jobs after the fact. Maybe, you know, ask the school, is there any way that I can get in touch with somebody who went to the school that's already graduated? Instructors, their experience level, the kind of things that they have to offer and they have to bring it to the table are also going to be important, because there are many different facets to auto repair. There are many different ways to go about it. You can specialize in a lot of different things. You can specialize in a particular make. And then beyond your education, beyond that school, that general education that you get, may begin again if you get a job with a dealership, a certain manufacturer. They may send you off to their school, and you may learn a whole host of other things on the specific systems involved with that car line. That's really the best case scenario, honestly. As much BS as you put up with at the dealership, the fact that you have access to factory training and factory tools and everything can really make you an expert in a car line. That's why I'm a Honda Acura expert. I mean, I went to Honda school. Check it out. That's something I got after 8 years. Literally, I got this the last year I was at the dealership when I finally completed all of those things for that program. Yeah, I'm outdated now. That stuff's all 2012. However, it was really nice to have that. If you're at a dealership and they offer to send you to school, maybe you start out as a porter or a lot tech, or somebody in the car wash or something, and you want to work your way in through the oil change stuff and all that, I'm going to give you one word of warning with that. They're getting you dirt cheap, okay? You think it's great because you got out of the car wash and you're now working changing oil. Fine and dandy, but you know what? They'll probably try to keep you there as long as possible because they're paying you less than they pay their techs to do that work. And in a way, the techs that are out in the shop are looking at you going, that bastard's cutting into my paycheck. It's true. It's true. The people at the top are looking at you as another tool in the toolbox. And if the tool breaks or it doesn't work, they'll throw you away and get another one. Hate to say that, but that's what you're up against. As far as going out and getting your own shop, I've done videos on that. So look into those. But I hope that gives you some advice, some direction on what to look for if you are considering going to school to be an automotive technician. I'd love to hear your comments. I'm sure many of you have experiences that you'd like to share, either in school, out of school, as a technician, not going to school, going to school. I'm an advocate of going to school. Am I saying that you have to do that in order to get into the field? No. But I think you're better off if you do. But if your circumstances don't allow that, I get it, I understand. But don't shoot the messenger here. I'm merely trying to put this stuff out there. But I'd love to hear what you have to add down in the comments. There'll also be a link in the description to a discussion about this over on my forum at ericthecarguy.com. Let's talk about it. But that's what I have to add. And look through the comments. I'm sure there'll be people there that also have something to add that might be of use to you. Word of mouth. Find out from the people that actually go there. And they're going to say all nice things in the brochure. But what actually happens out on the shop floor, well, the people that go there are going to know that more than anything. I wish you the best of luck. Seriously, the field needs more talented technicians, talented, dedicated technicians. The older ones are looking to get out, and it's not nearly enough coming in. So we need you. We need you. Now, it's up to those employers to make it worth your while. Hear me, employers? Anyway, I am Eric the Car Guy. I can always be found at ericthecarguy.com, where if you have automotive questions, I would ask that you go there. Check out the plethora of information and stuff we have there to help you with those automotive issues that you might have. There's a welcome video describing all of those things. In addition to that, if you wish to connect with me socially, I can be found on Google+, Facebook, and Twitter, and I close each of my videos with be safe, have fun, and stay dirty. I'll see you next time.